It's been so long since I look back on my past. How long has it been since I had last seen reality? How long has it been since I had last looked back at what I've done? This path I walk is a path of many things. A path of love, of passion, of frustration, of rage. The emotional spectrum rests within every choice I make. Yet do I regret these choices? Some yes, some no. On most days, I blaze down this path like I've got a death wish. On others, I take it slow. I watch the winds of change. I predict the forecast of what is to come. I prepare, always prepare, for the next big challenge. I have taken down countless enemies, wasted wyverns, felled the deadliest of dragons, vanquished horrid demons, zombies, and abominations alike. I've destroyed worlds at the flick of my wrists. The weapons I use are virtually endless. I've seen the rise and fall of many civilizations. I've saved more kingdoms in the years I have lived. Damsels in distress, like a daily chore. Beautiful women met amongst my passing travels, countless. Friends and rivals made, irreplaceable. My potential as limitless and countless as the stars themselves. Every challenge thrown at me, I rise to the occasion, and if there's something I cannot go over, then abandon my closest and most trusted allies will always do the trick. I have lived countless lives, existed in numerous ages, and I have died more times than anyone can ever enumerate. I am everywhere, and I am nowhere. I am a deceiver, yet I have been deceived. I am a savior, and I have been saved. I am a warrior, a rogue, a mage. I am a defender, a destroyer, a conqueror, a hero. Of all these things, of all these lives I've lived, what am I really? I will tell you, adventurer, for all things start at a source. I am a gamer. But enough about what I've done in my life. All things begin somewhere. Stay a while and listen. Let me tell you my story. From Level 1. It all began when I was but a young boy. I was but a child, but from my oldest recollections taken from my family, the first time I had picked up a controller was at the age of 3. It was before I moved to America, back when gaming was simple, but others saw it to be complicated. Back when the graphics were just 8-bit, where the controls consisted of only 8 buttons or less. The controller, blocking. It was a grand time, it was a simple time. It was the beginning of everything. I'm sure you guys know about the wonderful story of the short, stout Italian plumber wearing a red hat, red long sleeves, white gloves, and in blue overalls that came from our world to fight in this mythical world. The story of a plumber and the more or less uncommon occasion of his brother tagging along has been known throughout the ages. They are the Mario Bros. And they started from the 8-bit, funny shapes of the 80s to the fully smooth, fully colored, fully expressive images that they are today, and their legacy extends universally. Though they are towering archetypes of gaming today, they started back on the first gaming system I've ever played, the Nintendo Entertainment System, or the NES. Needless to say, I failed. I was 3 years old, and the only thing I knew was button mashing, but part of me, even at that age, loved it. It was something I could never forget, something that I carried on into my later years. From the NES, I played games that have made their names even until today, like Mega Man, Kirby's Dream Land, Final Fantasy, among other things. On that day, something in me clicked. It was like the flourishing of a flower for the first time, or the first time you see the sunrise. It was life-changing, and from my later years and onward, I held it closely to my heart. I saw a new world that day, something I could never unsee. I saw the digital world, and the more the years passed by, the more I wanted to be part of it. Ultimately, gaming would lead me to helping myself through many situations in my life. Through video games, I was able to communicate through strangers. In my eyes, gaming promoted unity. It saved me from being alone. It was one of the first steps that I could ever remember that made me fit in with the crowd. Through gaming, I didn't feel so alone. Through gaming, I found friends. Time had passed. If there's one thing I learned, it's that gaming was a living thing. It grew, changed, and evolved over time. From the NES, to the Super NES, or the Super Nintendo, to the Sega Genesis, Sega Saturn, the Sony PlayStation, the Nintendo 64, and so much more. Gaming gave birth to a multitude of avenues of other gaming. Portable gaming systems, home consoles, so much sprung forth like the forest fresh from the confines of winter. With all these new, innovative models of gaming, I felt, as a gamer, it was my sworn duty to explore and plunder these avenues, explore them like a Pokemon trainer starting out. Armed with only my mind and my hand-eye coordination, it was there that I had plundered, explored, flourished, and evolved. With each different avenue, each different method of gaming, I grew wiser. I grew stronger, faster, more advanced. Much like gaming, I too was evolving. Instead of wasting my time in culture, educating, just like my teachers did. I explored worlds untapped, worlds undiscovered. My kill count grew higher. I grew stronger. I lost track of what level I could be and kept my eyes going on forward. I was in a trance that wouldn't let me go, but I was happy. These worlds, to me, were far superior than reality. It had a grip on me like a vice. I drank it in with no remorse, no guilt. Was this my drug? My vice? No. It was my guardian angel, the Tyrael to my Nephilim. It helped me, and it was my obligation to help it. It saved me, after all. It taught me to be strong, to stand your ground, to never back down, and if you have to, you should never back down without a fight. It strengthened me, it defended me, and above all else, it made me stand out, not just as a gamer, but as a person. I learned from my gaming to always be strong. By the time I started high school, I was convinced that I had experienced all that was gaming. I was a weathered veteran of gaming, or as I thought at the time. I expected what was to come, and prepared myself for it. When games were coming out, I knew about it before anyone else. I was even able to find out that gaming had several other ways to help me, even during exercise. That was when I first stepped onto a Dance Dance Revolution machine, and it was truly my only way of working out at the time. That, and arcades were my life. I thought I had seen it all, but it was to that point in my life that I realized, what's next? Is there nowhere else for me to explore? Have I plundered every dungeon of gaming? Have I collected every key, captured every Pokemon? Have I saved every princess that ever was that was sooner or later going to move to the next castle? Was there really nothing else? No! No, it couldn't be! There had to be something else! A clue, a system I haven't played, or a handle that I haven't picked up before. Something was missing. I panicked. I thought there was nothing for me, that I had reached max level in my gaming career. I knew of everything that was to come, and I had more or less experienced all the present had to offer. Having all these in mind, there was only one thing left to do, one path unexplored by the foolishness of my youth. I had to go back in time. So I went back, I searched through books, read up on the history, the great video game market crash, the rise of innovative gaming. To me it was like reading about wars that have never been told before, like finding pieces of history long buried and left to rot in the annals of time, forgotten, lost. But then that was it. That was when I found a new method of gaming shrouded in the past, decorated with relics of old, something I had never seen before. It was gaming that wasn't connected to any sort of digital technology. It wasn't anything found on a Super Nintendo or a Nintendo Entertainment System or an Atari or even a Pong machine. It didn't even require a television set or a monitor. When I stumbled onto this wonderful, new gaming method that I haven't tried, all it showed me, all it said that I needed were a pencil, a sheet of paper, an optional calculator, imagination, dice. 7 different types of dice, all of different sides, shapes. I had found it, the source, the roots, the beginning of gaming. I had found it, gaming, before there was gaming. Dungeons and Dragons. In this game, you could have been anything, an elf, a human, or even a dragon. Nothing was impossible. An adventure could have been anything. You could have been anything. This is what I needed. I had traversed the present, predicted the future, and explored the past, but I knew that it wasn't over. It was never going to be over. Not yet, anyway. That's what I knew there was always going to be the next challenge. It was my duty as a gamer to rise to the occasion. Like a computer game with several expansions, or like an endless session of Dungeons and Dragons, there was always a new adventure. I am a loser, a geek, a nerd, but I am not ashamed. It has made me what I am today. I have been many things, but ultimately, I am a gamer. Not because I don't have a life, but because I choose to have many. I am a gamer. Row, row, fight the power.